My name is Lutz, and I'm the lead pastor and founding pastor of Lutz Digital Church. So the name Lux is the Latin word for light, and so it's the word for light that we see in Matthew chapter 5 as well. And that's what Lux is about. Like in our little corner of the internet, like we are shining the light of Jesus there to the best of our ability. Lux is a church that's planted inside of the gaming community. We're amongst people who spend a large portion of their life in digital relationships, in digital spaces. I've always been fascinated by video games. From the time I was very young, I was fascinated with video games. In 10th grade, I felt a calling to go into youth ministry. I went to a local Christian school that had a youth ministry program, graduated from there at 21, took a job at a church that's in the town that we live in now, and I worked for that church for 11 years before we planted Lux. And in all of that time, very rarely did my love for gaming become even remotely integrated into the church world. In fact, I always viewed sort of my love for gaming to sort of be a hindrance to what I was doing in ministry. In the summer of 2019, I was playing a video game. It was a digital card game made by Bethesda, and there was no podcast about it. And I had a little bit of experience podcasting about video games. I grabbed a mic and I just started covering it. And I had a simple prayer: God, would you use my love for gaming and would you redeem it? Would you use it in some capacity? We started a community around the podcast online. And I started building relationships with people who were listening to us. And then I just made an open invitation at the end of our episodes. If you're going through a hard time, I'm a pastor outside of this. I'd love to listen to what's going on in your life and be there for you. And we started having people actually reach out that were not Christians from all over the world. And I was having more experience with non-believers in powerful and meaningful ways through a podcast that I was doing one evening a week than I was in my 40, 50 hours of ministry work. And it was this community that had largely been forgotten about or ostracized by the church that was in desperate need of Jesus. They were in just really dark places. And these were my people, my tribe. I spoke their language. I understood their world. And my heart broke for them because I saw them searching for something, kids and adults alike, and they weren't finding it. All of this stuff was new to me, but when we started building relationships that were actually transforming people's lives online, that's when it really unlocked the opportunity for us to see a full experience of the church exist at a digital address and in digital space. We needed a church that wasn't going to be held back by timber or steel. And I'll be honest, I thought it was heretical. I am not the type of person who thought a digital church is legitimate. But then I realized that Paul used Roman roads, which was the most modern form of technology that he had, in order to send messengers. Paul wrote letters. You can't tell me that Paul, if given the opportunity, would not have jumped on a Zoom call with the churches in Galatia and told them to not allow the Judaizers to come in and disrupt what they were doing. And so for us, we knew that the apostles used everything that they could in order to bring the good news of Jesus to people. And the question became, like, am I willing to do that? I am watching people be the first century church, selflessly sacrificing for one another, supporting one another, and growing in Jesus every single day with people that they will not hug until heaven. Multiple members of our church have been battling addiction and they're heading into sobriety, and we're supporting them in prayer. And we literally just had somebody from our community who just needed some help, and one of our small groups just poured in financially and just covered stuff for them. And like, that is the church being the church. Barna put out a survey, and they looked at the average non-believer, how many people would be interested in attending a digital-only church, and that came out to about 20%. If you take the 20% of the population that might be interested in going to digital church, and they showed up to one of the handful of digital churches that are trying to reach full ecclesiology in our world right now, you'd have about 6.9 million people per church. We need more churches that are willing to plant outside the boundaries of what makes them comfortable or what they understand. We need more pastors that are willing to believe in a younger generation of leaders that truly understand, comprehend, and can navigate digital relationships. And we need them to release them with the resources, which isn't even much. You know, a couple $1,000s of camera equipment and a couple of lights, and you can start a digital church inside your home. But you have to be willing to build those relationships and build out the platforms and engage with people and invest your life in it. It's not just a casual, we broadcasted our stuff on the internet and we wanted to see who was going to show up and hopefully someone will say hello and chat. It's actively becoming part of somebody's life, getting them in that video chat, hanging out with them, learning their stories, understanding what makes them tick, knowing their pains, praying for them, seeing God at work in their life, encouraging them and discipling them. All of those things have to happen inside the digital church. And truthfully, we just need more churches that are willing to take the step in faith and do it.